will be prepared for the coroner.
Well, mortgage holders have had a bit of relief this morning, perhaps temporary, but who knows? Inflation not as high as economists expected. Markets are now pricing in the next RBA move to be a rate cut, albeit not until next year. Joining me now is Independent MP from Western Sydney, Dai Le. Dai, great to see you. We always talk cost of living with you, and you know we can often talk about these headline figures, which doesn't reflect how tough people in the community are doing it. What is your feedback? How are people at the moment? How is your electorate? Are people seeing it a little bit easier to pay their bills than they were a couple of months ago? Are they keeping their jobs? What is it, Di?
Can I say to you that I don't think we should be celebrating yet, because obviously things are still very expensive. Cost of groceries, petrol, rent, mortgage repayment is still high because I went door knocking this week in one of a low socioeconomic area suburbs in my electorate where there are lots of flats, blocks of flats of 4 levels, blocks of flats, and people are telling me their electricity prices has gone up in the last 2 years. Their rent has also gone up in the last 2 years. Food for them has gone up in the last 2 years. Travelling, petrol, public transport has, gone up for them in the last few years. So I don't think we should be celebrating. Yes, it hasn't gone up as much as people have predicted, but it's still on a very high base. We're not talking about low base. And my understanding is that, August last year, the cash rate was 4.1%. Today, it's 4.35%. So it's still high. And we have to remember that the government got elected on the promise of reducing electricity bills. It hasn't. So from my perspective, how can the government assure the community and assure the people in my electorate of Fowler, where majority are on low income, how are they going to assure us that electricity prices will not continue to go up 10, 20 or 30% as the government push and invest in this rewiring the nation and building the infrastructure for EVs and all of this new technology, which, some communities will be welcoming. But in community like Fowler and Western Sydney, we are still struggling. So until grocery prices goes down, until rent goes, until electricity prices go down, or stabilise, I don't think we should be celebrating anything.
So are you warming to Peter Dutton's nuclear idea, perhaps?
I think I've spoken about this before, Laura. I think I'm happy to have any conversations, and let's have an open conversations about the variety of energy sources that our community need in order to bring energy prices down, gas prices down. And that's what's hurting people the most. Winter, summer, people out here in Western Sydney in particular are turning to either not turning on the air conditioning or not turning on their heaters because they can't afford to pay the energy bills. So I think let's not be ideological about things. Let's be pragmatic. Yeah. Let's see what works and what brings down and make it easier for our community with the cost of living, because it's just not going to stop, especially out here in Western Sydney.
Di, thanks so much. We always appreciate your time on the program. We'll check in with you soon.